It's time for some collective wisdom, a podcast advancing the cannabis revolution, one conversation at a time. We all benefit from sharing knowledge and experiences. So if you want to learn about the business of cannabis from those in the trenches, you've come to the right place. Here's your host, Lisa Tollner, co-founder of SensiChew.
Our conversation today is with Victor Arocho, Chief Revenue Officer at Paywana. Victor is an expert in bringing accountability to the sales process. He builds a passionate sales culture focused on growth and strategic sales execution. Victor is deeply dedicated to mentoring young entrepreneurs as a member of the South Florida chapter of the Entrepreneurs Organization. Victor has used his sales culture building philosophy to benefit several businesses. He also took on the job to head sales for a stagnant, publicly traded insurance company. The company went through explosive growth and within 24 months raised its stock price 1,200%. Victor Arocho, welcome to Collective Wisdom.
Well, thank you for having me on your show. I'm very excited today.
Well, we're excited to speak with you. There's so much going on and a lot of stress and tension around COVID-19 and how it's changing our world and specifically the impact that it's having on the cannabis industry. And we've had some blessings in that in many states it's been deemed essential and we're able to continue operations, but there's also been dramatic change. Tell us your view on how this change is affecting the cannabis industry.
A great question. It's affecting the cannabis industry because of the unknown. And what's happening, each state are making their own regulatory laws, and they're changing rather rapidly. So the industry has to adapt to the regulatory changes. So, for example, one would be you're not allowed to be in a waiting room, but other states you can. Another one you can't be standing outside. In other states you can. Some states are now allowing delivery. Some states are only allowing online ordering, and it's state by state. So you have to stay up to breast with what's going on. So that's affecting the industry from a regulatory standpoint. Another area that is affecting is the owners and the dispensary owners have to start utilizing more technology to be able to service their customers, whether it's curbside or delivery, or if they're ordering from outside of their dispensary. So it's put a pretty big impact on the dispensary business. And they're also seeing 1 week of a surge in sales and then another week of a decline in sales.
So a roller coaster.
Yes, because the toilet paper hoarding, I'm sure you heard of that, right?
Oh, yes.
They're doing the same thing with cannabis. So customers are buying the state-required maximums, and that's where the surge was coming from. So they were hoarding cannabis just in case something took place. And then the following week, they had enough cannabis that they didn't have to rush back to a dispensary.
Do you think that some of that is also may play out as consumer behavior changes? So in other words, behaviors that are being dictated by their income. So they've gathered what they thought they needed to hold them over for a period of time, and now the uncertainty of a paycheck will impact their buying habits.
That has been brought up to me before, and I have mixed emotions on how to answer that. Yes, I think that some of it could be the economic impact on let me get what I can now because of the economy and whether I'll be continued working, will I have a paycheck. So, yes, I think that affected it to some degree. But then on the other side of the coin, when you see the numbers during the Great Depression and recessions, and pray to God we're not going to go there, liquor sales in general are up 248%.
Wow.
So during good times and bad times, liquor is one of the most stable type of business because people either are going to liquor stores for celebration or going to liquor store for somber. So the beauty about the cannabis business, and they're starting to realize that it's an essential business to be open, is that it helps people cope a lot more with anxiety, depression, stress, things of the future. And I'm saying those that are used to or have experimented or have used cannabis in the past, because there are some people who have different reactions. So what I'm saying on that part is I'm not sure how much the economy may or may not affect cannabis, this is the first time we've been in this situation. But if there's any indication to how alcohol sales are skyrocketing, you can apply the same logic to the income of people, yet they're still buying alcohol.
It's just an interesting part of human nature, balancing your income and your expendable income and then dealing with crisis and the things we do to ease the stress and medicate ourselves to get through a difficult time. So with the technology you're involved in with Paywana, what is the role that you see where it comes to bear and can help cannabis companies as they're dealing with this pivot to technology, because they can no longer see a consumer coming through the front doors of their dispensary? Now they have to connect with them using technology, using their website menus more than they've ever used them before. Tell us about the role of your company and then also the connection to technology and innovation.
Well, we're a financial automation technology company, so we're really a software company. And our flagship products are 22-inch and 32-inch smart merchandising ordering kiosks. So with that, we've integrated payment solutions that integrate with the ordering, so a customer can literally walk up to a kiosk that may be outside while there's a line. They literally can order from the kiosk and pay from the kiosk either by a mobile device, just like Venmo. We have a solution for mobile payments that's cannabis friendly. And then we also have what's called a cashless ATM. So that's in one area, depending on the state you're at and whether people can be lined up outside with social distancing. I've seen them put tape on the line, but it speeds up the process of them not worrying about having to be close to too many people. The beauty about our technology is once you order and you pay, you're going to get a number and you can go right back to your car. And once your order is fulfilled, you get a text letting you know that your order is fulfilled. And whatever process they have on delivering your product, whether they come to your car or you come to curbside, you're able to then have your order fulfilled.
Brilliant.
And then the other two ways that we have as solutions goes into the payment processing part of it, inclusive of our technology. So we have the ability to do the same mobile or cashless ATM for online orders and for delivery services, which is where the industry is starting to head towards a lot more. So the biggest challenge the industry was having, and I can answer that based on where we go from here, but is the fact that not only do have to go to curbside to deliver the product, they also have to walk out with cash for change. And the person driving up is driving up with cash. So they're worried about walking out not only with product, but with cash in hand.
Well, it's, the cash in hand, but it's also the handling of cash. It's one more thing to handle. It's one more way to pass germs.
Well, my point being is when they're going outside, when you have these abilities to either have a kiosk outside, it's already prepaid. Now, some states are letting one or two people come in, but this way you're able to service people and let them place their orders as fast as possible so they're social distancing, but then they can get back in their car. But also with our payment solutions, the bud tender or the staff at the dispensary, when they're walking out, I can't do anything with walking out with product, but our solutions provides them not walking out and handling cash. We call it contactless payment.
One thing that I find interesting how this shift has given new life to delivery services is really quite remarkable, because a lot of the delivery services, at least here in California, a few are doing well, but a great many have struggled. And of course, now the cannabis industry can't survive without delivery services. They're really getting a rebirth. So this solution would work equally well for a company that's strictly delivery, correct?
Yeah, our solution is good for people who want to get into delivery, which I think they should have. People who just got in delivery business were ahead of the game, even though we didn't know that this was going to happen. But I think some of the challenges that dispensaries had with delivery was, do you deliver one at a time with a certain amount of product and how much cash you're going to carry with you? Or do you deliver multiple deliveries and now you have a lot more product and cash with you, then puts you in more security challenge situations? You made an awesome point that the handling of cash, right? You want to repeat yourself?
Right, exactly, because we're addressing two things here. One is the fluidity of the business transaction and trying to maintain that, but we have this deadly virus, and the least amount of transaction touching of anything that flows from one person to another needs to be minimized. So the cash just seems to exacerbate that.
That's an excellent point, and I hope this comes across as we recognize it, because right now, based on last year's statistics of sales, and then 70% of the cannabis industry is done in cash. So if you take that and you divide it by its average ticket sales, I'm just being a conservative estimate, $7 million per month is exchanged via cash.
I'd like to know a little bit more about Paywana and the technology behind it. Can you give us an overview of the technology and how it comes about?
So this is our proprietary software. We saw that there was a gap in dispensaries because as cannabis starts getting accepted throughout the country, and I'm sure you've seen them, there's long lines. It's very cash intensive. You want to provide great customer service experience. So our software helps reduce your line. It reduces wait times because you're able to order directly from our kiosk. Now, the kiosk is the structure of the display, and it's a touchscreen display, but it's our software that's running on it. So it reduces the wait time, it reduces cash shrinkage, and it helps dispensaries deploy their staff so they can do more consultative services to those that need more education. And let me just add to how our clients are also improving the safety. So they are either providing the disinfectant wipes, or you have someone that's 6 feet away, and as soon as someone finishes ordering on the kiosk, they come, they wipe it down, and the next person comes.
I figured that was happening.
So yes, we're constantly making sure that's clean for the protection of the people.
Sure. Now, there's a lot of data being collected here. Is there a back-end data depository for consumer patterns and what they're buying to help them in some of their buying decisions?
Yes, that's something that's going to come more down the line because of the data being collected. But in addition, we integrate with what's called the POS, point of sale systems. But these are point of sale systems, not like your merchant processing where you swipe your card. They're also called point of sale systems, or if you're touching on a little tab. But these are point of sale systems that have to report to the state for each state. So we are integrating with as many POS systems that we can, and that data is being transferred to that POS system, which then provides the dispensary owner, and depending on the POS company, to be able to utilize that data the best that they can by determining what's selling better, what's not selling as good. So right now, the solution today, our software and our kiosk being integrated with the point-of-sale systems that dispensaries need to use for reporting purposes to the states.
And what states is Paywana currently doing business in?
Currently, we are in Arizona, Montana, Michigan, Oregon, Colorado, and we're expanding to California.
What advice can you give these smaller, struggling companies on their path to technology and the importance of it?
Well, I'd like to answer that on both sides, the larger companies and the smaller companies. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
You know, I like having boots on the ground. So prior to COVID-19, I would travel and actually go into the dispensaries. And believe it or not, the larger dispensaries, they still haven't embraced the technology the way they should have. Now, for the smaller companies, this is an advantage because you're at least from the same starting line, other than financially or economically because they're larger companies. But the smaller companies are the ones that really need to also embrace as much technology as possible to run an efficient dispensary. Because the cannabis business, if you think about it, has brought back the life of brick and mortar stores.
Very true.
Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Right. So everybody was always scared that brick and mortar was going to go away. Cannabis has done wonderful for brick and mortar, for real estate, for construction, for technology, and it's increasing, is where the smaller companies should look to be as efficient as possible and understand and look at technology to help them, their customers, have a greater experience, and help their staff who are very knowledgeable bud tenders, but there's some work that they're more valuable doing than other parts of their job.
Yeah, it makes sense. This is, like you mentioned, it's leveling the playing field somewhat for these smaller shops who can be nimble and be more aggressive at integrating technology into their operations and to more effectively compete.
And the beauty about our smart ordering kiosk, and I call it a smart merchandising ordering kiosk. Why? Because it's literally a merchandising product. Dispensaries are doing everything they can to bring customers in the door. So our technology and our solution provides a consistent staff member that is there 24/7 and gives the dispensary owner or dispensary general managers or regional managers to promote the products that they want to promote in a beautiful display with excellent and beautiful pictures. And it's known that a person that spends more time at a self-ordering kiosk has a tendency to purchase 10, 15, sometimes 20% more than they would normally purchase.
So, Victor, this has been a fascinating look at how our industry has had to shift and change literally in just the course of a few weeks in order to not only stay active and keep our businesses afloat because of our opportunity to be deemed an essential business, but also we're being thrust into this whole new way of working. And it's a sink or swim moment. We can either jump on the technology bandwagon and get our businesses moving toward the future in a way that we needed to anyway, or we can lag behind and struggle. So it's a pivotal moment for the industry in particular, and technology is going to play an important role in that success. Are there any predictions that you could share from your view of the world with payment systems that you would like to share with us related to the cannabis space?
Well, yes. What the industry has to prepare themselves is you're going to get another surge. So if you saw where recreational became recreational in a brand new state, let's say like Illinois, all of a sudden you had massive lines out the door. The surge is going to come again once we get past this. So there's two time frames of where dispensaries need to look at technology. Today, because of what's going on today, and future, because once we get past this, and we know we will, whenever that may be, now you're going to have another influx of people rushing to dispensaries. They may not be hoarding this time, but a lot of them are going to now feel more comfortable to go out. They're able to go into waiting rooms. The social distancing won't be in effect. So technology, they need it today, and they need it for the future. And that's where I see that's critical in utilizing technology, particularly our solutions, whether it's our kiosk, which is our flagship, and our payment processing solutions.
Well, some very interesting things on the horizon for you and Paywana. Victor, thank you so much for your time today. I enjoyed our conversation. How can our listeners find out more about Paywana?
They can go to Paywana, that's Paywana.com. They can also go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's also Paywana, Paywana. And then our Facebook page, which is Paywana USA. And we have videos describing how to utilize the best practices. We're coming out with educational items to help dispensaries to do better merchandising in their stores. But we really want to help this business and help dispensary owners and customers enjoy the cannabis industry.
Well, Victor, we appreciate your insights. Thank you. And thanks for tuning in. You can find Collective Wisdom on OC Talk Radio every Thursday at 3 p.m., and you can listen to Collective Wisdom wherever you get your podcasts. This is your host, Lisa Tollner. Thank you for listening to Collective Wisdom, and until next time, be well.
That's this week's episode of the Collective Wisdom Podcast. Join us each week for another episode on OC Talk Radio, streaming on Thursdays at 3 p.m. And you can download Collective Wisdom wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to visit cacollectivewisdom.com or email us at collectivewisdompodcast@gmail.com to join the conversation. Thank you for listening.